Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and it's Women's History Month, and I'm here today to talk to you about Pretty Little Liars Season 4, Part 2. So like I said before, my last video was like 3 hours and 12 minutes. I cut it in half to where they're both like an hour and a half long. So this is the second half, and I'm gonna continue with the character bios. CC Drake has a very odd role in this season. She's mentioned like a million times, but only appears 3 times and stuff. And like, it's clearly the actress had other commitments and could not really be here. But there's a reason why her name constantly kept getting mentioned. It's because of I, Marlene King. So, spoiler alert, CC is Redcoat. And I, Marlene King, said she planned this out since last season. When CC got introduced, we could see that CC has some edge to her. She's odd. She kind of acts like Allie. I think it was even revealed she was Redcoat in the last season. I'm not really sure. But there was something odd going on with CC in season 3. Just couldn't quite figure out what it was. So yeah, she is Redcoat. Yeah, she was at the lodge. No, she did not set the fire at the lodge. I forgot to mention this. It was Shauna. Yeah, Shauna wanted revenge on, like, the whole Jenna thing. I swear they did so much with Shauna this season, boy. It's weird, but it all gets revealed in the next season and in interviews. Oh, Jesus, I, Marlene King. Anyway, so CC is Redcoat, and apparently she is the one who killed Wilden and everything. But why? Travis saw her and everything, and like, it's never explained. Like, I'm not even joking, it's never explained in season 4. You have to wait to season 5 or 6 to find out why CC did all this. And so, like, then they get to the point where they assume CC might be A. Everything leads up to it, the whole Redcoat thing. Because the whole Redcoat thing is just not really going nowhere no more. I mean, it's a nice red coat, but it's Allie's disguise, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, then it's shown that CC got a bunch of money. They think A paid her off to do all this stuff. Even though she took like a business finance class in college where, she met Jason and they dated briefly and they kissed and this and that. All right, I need to go into some spoiler territory. This is just bizarre and weird. Oh, yeah. CC's A, Big A, and has been Big A since season 3. I, Marlene King, said she planned for CC to be Big A, but surprise, surprise, the actress could barely show up. Should just recast, but hey, whatever. So yeah, why exactly is she doing all this? Why is she aggressive towards the liars? Why is she trying to kill the liars and everything? Why, why? It's because of Allie. Even though Allie got her kicked out of college because she blamed her on pushing that girl down the stairs when it was really Noel Kahn, but in my mind, it was really Allie. There's a lot of confusion that goes on with the CC Drake character, like Charlotte, who used to be Charles. Yes, CC is transgender. And it turns out she is the cousin of Allie and Jason and the sister to Spencer. Yes, Spencer is not really Veronica's daughter. She is Mary Drake's daughter because Peter was cheating with 2 sisters and everything when he cheated on his wife. He cheated on his wife with that whatever Allison's mom name is, and then also with that of Allison's mom's twin sister, Mary Drake. So yeah, hi Marlene King, you screwed all this up. This is why your show got canceled in the 7th season. Fans just couldn't take it no more. You screwed everything up. Like after the 6th season, fans were just like, yo, we had enough. And the network's all like, look, this show is done by the 7th season. We'll give you a 7th season and wrap everything up. And of course, I, Marlene King, wrapped everything up in I, Marlene King fashion, but also left more questions on the table. Oh my God. Oh my God. The questions that was left at the end of the table, then later on in the spinoff, was still unanswered. Jeez, man. Jeez. Why can't it be simple for this woman? But yeah, basically, I think I've already explained this. Like, ooh, I just want to scream. So it was Cece who hit Allison in the back of the head, thinking that it was Mona or something like that. And so then she's all like worried, like, oh no, I killed my cousin, and that's like my best friend. And so, Allison got buried, and Cece went off to college, financed herself to become very, like, profitable, and learned how to, like, of course, being an A, knows everything about computers and hackery and stuff like that. And anyway, so the police been looking for her all season. Somehow the police found her off screen, and she gets arrested and interrogated. Then she walks out of police custody. It looks like she's walking out of her free will and stuff like that. But apparently she escaped or something like that. I mean, if she's the murderer of Will, then why did they just let her walk off? This show has become so stupid after a while. But yeah, she killed Wilden because of the whole Allie thing. There was even a picture in season 4 of her, Allie, and Wilden on a boat. And that picture never got explained in season 4. But because Wilden is Wilden, she killed him and everything, fearing that he might hurt Allie. She tried to strangle Mona in the car in season 4 because Mona, tried to kill Allie and everything. And stalked her and everything. She tries to kill the liars because of the whole Allie thing. But then later on, of course, they have to try to redeem her. So they reveal, hey, if she's transgender, nobody's going to get mad at her. So she's transgender. And so, like, born a boy, turned himself into a girl. And then I think when he was a boy, he was committed at Radley. And he saw who killed, like, Toby's mother, which the timeline of that don't make no sense. Seriously, it don't. And so, like, because she's much older than all of them, graduating from college, or getting kicked out of college, I should say. And so, like, I'm just confused and tired of even talking about this. It's confusing. It's so confusing. But of course, they try to redeem her again, but say, oh no, I never wanted to kill any of y'all. Y'all are my dolls in my giant playhouse, and I would never harm y'all, and blah, 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 blah. And eventually, they redeem her once again, but only for her to die. And I'm done talking about this. Jessica De Laurentiis. I don't really feel like talking about this character because it seems pointless at this point in time. But anyway, she comes back this season, and at some point, her and Emily get close because Emily has to stay with her, and so does Emily's mom. But we don't ever see Emily's mom staying with her. She really does not like Spencer for the most part, but because Spencer accused her of trying to get back with her dad and everything, and Spencer was being very rude to her. And then, so at some point in time, she was throwing some type of wedding banquet type thing and wanted Ashley to be there and the girls to be there. And then, so we don't really know when the switcheroo was done because I, Marlene King, thinks she's such a genius and everything. But at some point in time, Mary Drake, who is the twin sister of Jessica De La Rentez, did a nice little switcheroo, and we don't know which is which towards the end of the season. Basically, when they didn't do the Allie Courtney thing, they decided to do the Mary Jessica thing and give Mary a twin. And so, oh, this is spoiler alert, by the way. But I already said that before. But this is even more spoiler alert. They messed up because they gave one of the Pretty Little Liars a twin sister who turned out to be AD at the end of season 7, which is really stupid. But anyway, so Mary Drake at some point did the switcheroo with that of Jessica. And it was her that snuck into Spencer's room in the middle of the night and then snuck out with that evil look on her face and stuff like that. Why? Because of the whole Peter thing and the whole Cece thing. And so, like, she killed Jessica De La Rentez, dragged her body, and buried her in a shallow grave at the end of season 4. Because at the end of season 4, we don't know who's dragging the body and who's burying her in the ground. We assume it's Cece, but it's not. And that's because, you know, Mary is the mother of Cece and everything, and the mother of Spencer. And Mary is actually crazy in the head and was at Radley and gave birth to that of Cece. It gets so confusing because we don't know really what happens to Mary at the end of season 7 because we know Mona kidnapped her and AD is the new A or whatever, who's a twin sister of one of the liars and everything, and she locked her away in some type of like fortress type place. But then in the spinoff, we see Mona at like a college teaching, and we don't know what happened to AD, and we don't know what happened to Mary. Because I, Marlene King, created the spinoff, and I, Marlene King, lost her freaking mind in the show. This is why Hollywood has not hired I, Marlene King since that failed spinoff. She's had 2 failed Pretty Little Liars spinoffs. And so after that, Hollywood's just like, yo, man, we can't take no more of this. Like, your stuff is hit or miss. Because she hasn't had that many shows and she hasn't had that many movies. But Pretty Little Liars was her crowning achievement at the time. Even though she created a movie called Now and Then, which I actually like, but the ending just sucks. And so, like, she was supposed to create a show with Shay Mitchell, but it didn't even get to the pilot stage. Then she was supposed to create a show with Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts' niece, but that never got created. She's still trying to create another show, probably writing here and there, but nobody wants to pick up her stuff. Because when you fumble this hard on Pretty Little Liars, Hollywood just is all like, we're done. We're done. Toby. So Toby has a really interesting storyline this season. Basically, he's on the redemption path from the viewers because of what he did in season 2 and in season 3. He was part of the A-Team, but supposedly he was just pretending so he can keep Spencer safe. This is because the writers just couldn't commit to making him bad. So they had to give him a sympathetic storyline. In this season, A tells him that, look, do this stuff for me and I'll tell you about how your mom really died. And so, like, because of this, he steals Mona's RV, and Spencer's the only one who knows he does it. But Mona, of course, finds out because Mona finds out everything. I'm tired of them making her Super Mona. Like, seriously. But anyways, so, like, he is trying to discover who killed his mom because he doesn't believe she took her own life. So, like, you know, A's giving him clues here and there, and like Spencer's trying to help him out. He talks to one of the doctors who was there, but the doctor has lost his mind completely from Alzheimer's, but tends to remember things here and there. He remembers a blonde girl being there. He remembers the music that Marion used to play and like stuff like that. And he even remembers Toby. But here's the things that's really, really confusing within like Toby's backstory and timeline. I believe Toby said in season one his mom died a year ago. That means that would happen a year around the time Allison went missing. Toby's age is a little confusing. Technically, he's around the same age as the Liars, but when you see in season two, he's no longer going to high school. By season four, he has his own apartment and everything. How could this exactly be? Well, remember, he got locked up and went to juvie and reform school, but had to go to regular high school in season one. Then he got rearrested and let go. His age doesn't make no sense because Emily clearly said, because I just rewatched season one like a couple of weeks ago, she said Toby was an older kid who got in trouble and went to juvie. So I'm like, an older kid? How old could he be? Because he's dating Spencer. And so, like, because even Jenna is still in high school and stuff. He's probably about a year older than the Liars and stuff. So, but then in season two, I guess he didn't go to high school because he went to reform school and did a lot of his classes there. But anyways, so around this time in season four, he should be around 20, maybe 19, something like that. And still dating an 18 or 17-year-old in high school her senior year, because you know how this show is. But the whole timeline doesn't make sense because they say he's been gone for a whole year. But something doesn't add up from when he was in reform school juvie and then when he showed up in season one. I don't think he's been gone for a whole year. It feels like a couple of months and everything. But anyways, the rest of the timeline with him doesn't make no sense as well because of the simple fact of the Bethany Young and CC Drake thing when they was at Radley. So CC is much older than everybody because she went to college and stuff. And Bethany was 17 when she died. But when we see in flashbacks in season 5, oh, spoiler alert, by the way. When we see flashbacks in season 5 of Marion, Cece, and Bethany, Cece is said to be Charles at that time and 12 years old. And she looks a heck of a lot younger than that of Bethany. And so, of course, Bethany pushed his mom. And something's not adding up. It couldn't have been a year ago the mom died because Toby would have been around the same age as Bethany. But Bethany is supposed to be a heck of a lot younger before she met that of Allison in the whole horse debacle thing and Jessica cheating with her father. Then Toby should have been like a toddler or so, or a really young kid when all this crap happened with his mom, and so were the Liars and everything. Because when you look at Bethany, Bethany looks very young, you know? And so when Bethany later on escaped Radley and Cece killed her, she was 17 years old, and Cece was around in her mid-20s, or early mid-20s. The timeline just doesn't make any sense whatsoever in all their ages. It just literally doesn't. So, of course, the hospital covered everything up. Jessica's on the board of trustees. Peter Spence helped with like the payments, and he's all like, look, Toby, the hospital doesn't want to take responsibility. They're going to give you like a payout and everything. You and your father, it's best if you sign. Spencer doesn't want him to sign, but he signs anyway. And then after that, he just disappears for the rest of the season, only to come back when Spencer's having a drug problem. And apparently he went to wherever, Chicago, where Melissa was, and went to go get her and tell about Spencer's drug problem. But we never see that. And like, he just disappears for the rest again of the show. They literally had nothing for him other than this storyline. But like I said before, I don't care about this storyline because I don't know who Miriam is. We've never met her till now and everything. And she doesn't even have no speaking lines when we see her in this flashback. Caleb doesn't do much. He gets Hannah's dad to come around and help her out when her mom is like being arrested and all this other stuff. Him and Toby later on like find out about like Nigel and the whole CC plane thing. And then he's just a supportive boyfriend who's very supportive of like Hannah and even about to go to the cops because he's tired of Hannah and her friends going through all this, and Hannah and her friends are dumb enough not to go to the cops. Anyways, I already told you about the whole Ravenswood thing and how he left to be with that Miranda girl to help her figure out what the heck is going on and why there's a portrait of him from like the 1500s or 1700s or something like that. It's really stupid, but he basically breaks Hannah's heart and but he had his own spin off and it's stupid. Miss Grunwald is the lady who was like the head mistress of a sorority. Allie knew her and everything. She lives in Ravenswood. She has the power of insight. So yeah, the supernatural, paranormal, dumb crap like that. And she is the one who, since Allie was in the grave and pulled her out and just watch Ravenswood. Now, the actress Meg Foster is a legend. And yes, those are her real eyes. They're real clear blue and everything. She was on Katney and Lacey, but got fired after the first season because they felt she was too masculine looking and they didn't want to think that Katney and Lacey were lesbians. Yeah, things were weird back in the 60s and 70s and 80s or whenever that show came out. And then I remember I actually saw her for the first time on Hercules and Xena. She played Hera. Then I saw her in like, an episode of Sliders, but I had no idea the first time I actually really saw her was in Masters of the Universe, the He-Man movie from the 80s. She also voiced a role in the He-Man cartoon many decades later, so she is a legend. Paige doesn't have a storyline this season. She's just very supportive of Emily and dating Emily. She had a fling with that of Shauna back in the day, and her and Emily are kind of like having a rocky relationship this season. They kind of break up, get back together, kind of again. And so, especially when Allie's found out to be alive, she doesn't want Emily to associate with Allie no more because Allie put her through all this crap. She doesn't want Emily getting hurt because of A. When she finds out that like Allison is alive and Emily's about to wire her some money, she tells her after this, don't do it no more and just stay the heck away from that girl. She is the one who writes a letter to the detective being like, look, Allie's alive. You can find her at this address. And they think Hannah did it. But Hannah's all like, this ain't my handwriting, this and that. When she's in Emily's room, she sees that same handwriting and tells Emily that, I can't believe you told Paige that, what's the name's alive and blah, blah. So this is when Emily basically breaks up with her, kind of gets really pissed and mad at her and just kind of like leaves her. Paige shows up in season 5. But then when realizing Allie's alive, she just hightails it on out of there. Reason why she was written off the show is because Lindsay Shaw was fired from the show because of her drug abuse and stuff like that. She says that Marlene King doesn't like her because of an incident that happened when she brought some friends onto the set and something with a golf court or something like that. Golf cart, that's it. Something that happened with that. And yeah, I mean, if you was on drugs and not being like, making people's lives kind of chaotic, yeah, you're gonna get fired from it. Also, apparently her and Shay don't like each other and stuff like that. Because of some weird crap Lindsay said that every time she had to kiss Shay, and she had to kiss her a lot this season, and I mean full on kiss. She said that, after doing that, Shay will always be all like, this is why I wear sexy pajamas to bed to remind myself that I like men. They don't follow each other. I think Lindsay follows her, but Shay doesn't follow her back. Pam Fields and her husband, not Shay's, but Emily's parents, It's kind of weird this season because the mom only shows up for the first half and only in a couple of episodes, and basically, her and Emily are always arguing with each other because Emily becomes a pill popper, and children's services get called in, with the pills, and her fussing at Emily at school, and so then she gets suspended from her job because Emily's still wielding his key so they can break into his apartment. Then the dad shows up because of all this craziness that's going on, but then he later goes back. But then Cece drives the car through Emily's home, so they have to stay at Jessica De La Renta's, but we only see Emily there because the mom has been written off the season and won't come back till later on. The dad comes back only to find out Cece is once again trying to kill like Emily and everything. So he climbs up a pole to the school like Spider-Man, goes through the window, but then later has a heart attack and it's revealed he has heart disease. And spoiler alert, he later dies later on in the series. Most people who have heart disease, yeah, they don't survive. Like, it really gets them. The dad has never really been in the show. It kind of sucks that he isn't in there more because he's actually a heck of a lot nicer than the mom and everything. But it is what it is with this show. Mona is very interesting this season because she's on the road to redemption. After all she did in 3 seasons, now she's on the road to redemption. Why? Because fans love her. She's a series regular, and they had to redeem her horrible character. She stalked the girl. She tried to kill the girl. She tried to kill Allie, but yeah, they're gonna redeem her. So basically, at the end of season 3, all the girls escape, and Mona's all like, we're in this together. We're all groupies now, friends. And the girls is kind of like, look, man, we don't trust you. You stalked us for like 2 years or 3 years or whatever, and you tried to kill us, and then you got locked up in the crazy house. Why the world should we believe you? And because she's like, oh, because I'm so smart and I can rat y'all out and blah, 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 blah. And you know how it is. They literally made her super Mona this season. Mona can literally do anything. She can disable like a cop car to get the recording device. Oh, I forgot to mention, Cece is super Cece as well, good with computers. From a faraway distance, she hacked Emily's car and disabled it. Anyway. But Mona is super Mona and everything. She has an RV and she's only 17, 18 years old. How did she get that? How did she able to get a motel room by herself? Because she's super Mona. But she's no longer stalking the girls and everything. Now she's trying to figure out who, of course, is Big A/Red Coat. But she's doing it all off screen. She disappears for a lot of this season, which is weird because she's supposed to do her redeeming arc, but it's hard to redeem her when she ain't here. She found out that Toby was getting messages from Big A and that Spencer knew because she's super Mona and everything. Somehow she found out that Ezra is spying on the girls and writing a book because she's super Mona and everything. And because of that, he blackmails her and talking about, oh, I'm going to rat you out to the police because of all the stuff you've done. And all she had to do was go to the policeman, like, look, man, you was sleeping with the 16-year-old and everything. But Super Mona, gets downgraded because apparently Ezra is so intimidating. So she starts to date Mike and everything, only so she can get closer to Arya because Arya wants nothing to do with her. And so, but she decides she really likes Mike and doesn't want nothing to do with Mike no more and doesn't want to hurt him or involve him with all this other stuff. So, she tried to tell Ezra, but Ezra was like, But then Super Mona, of course, I don't think she knows Allie is alive yet. But she still doesn't even know who Cece is, being Red Coat and also A. If she's Super Mona, how is she not able to figure this out? Also, The age of Mike is so confusing when dating that of Mona. Mona should be 17, 18 years old. Mike, we have no idea. In season 2, I think it was mentioned he was like 15 years old. He's somewhere between 2 and 3 years younger than all the liars and stuff. So, if she's 18 about to graduate, then she was messing around with a 15, 16-year-old and stuff. But it gets even grosser than that because Hannah, back in her big girl stage, before Allie went missing, made out with Mike and everything. And so she was like 14. He should have been no more than 12 or like 11 or something like that. And so this show, man, and I ain't gotta make Hannah a bad pedo and everything. Like, what's up with that? Oh, but anyways, Mona does something unexpected. She's trying to teach Hannah how to lie for the cops, but Hannah can't do it because Hannah's gonna take the fall for her mother in case her mother might have killed Wilden. But Mona decides, you know what, I'll take the fall for you because I love you, Hannah, and everything. You're my best friend and everything. So she's back at Radley because Mona's all like, nah, I can't really kill nobody. I'm crazy in the head. And so, like, she's back at Radley. And so, um, she never escapes from there like she did in season 3. She's really is trying to turn over a new leaf, but eventually, spoiler alert, when she finds out Allie is alive, she ain't gonna have none of that crap. It is revealed in a flashback that she is the one who found Allie when Allie escaped from like the ground and escaped Miss Greenwald and then they want to go to the hospital. Now, Mona should have looked shocked and confused when she found Allie, but didn't. Why? Like, she helped Allie. She helped her check into like a motel room. She helped her get like a wig and new clothes and a rental car, pretending to be Vivian Darkbloom and everything. And in return, Allie actually did help Mona transform herself into a hottie and everything. So in season 2, Mona was not lying. Allie really did help her. It's just she lied about how they were in the motel room together because it wasn't Allie spying on Mona. They had to rework that because they had to redeem Mona and stuff. But then it's later found out that Mona had her lair in that motel room since before Allie went like missing and stuff, and she was crazy cuckoo in the head with all her dolls and like a playhouse and all this other stuff. However, spoiler alert, is revealed that she tried to kill Allie and knocked her in the head with a shovel, but it turned out to be Bethany and everything. So it's a little shocking and confusing as to why exactly Mona didn't look shocked and surprised when Allie was alive and why she just didn't kill Allie in the motel room. She could have, but she didn't because this wasn't planned back in season 2. And this wasn't planned in season 3. And this wasn't even planned in season 4 that Mona is the one who tried to kill Allie with the shovel but turned out to be Bethany. I'm Marlene King, I swear. Okay, so Hannah. Hannah is really interesting this season. In the first half, she's no longer being dumb and she's actually being smart. But in the second half, they make her the dumb one again. I really hate when they make her dumb and stuff like that. But I love how she loves her mom and she will protect her mom no matter what. The whole first half is really like the biggest part of Hannah's story arc because it deals with her mom and the death of Wilden and stuff. And Hannah is just scared and confused and having tons of outbursts because she doesn't want her mom to go to jail. Her mom is not being forthcoming with her and everybody is starting to suspect her mom, but she doesn't want to. Then her mom is arrested. She gets to the point where she's literally about to confess to the murder of Wilden, even though she did not do it, because she did not want her mom to go to jail and everything for the rest of her life. But of course, Mona is the one who later confessed. When Mona gets locked up, she tries to go and see her, but Ren would not allow her. He thinks she's there to like see him at the brew, but she's not, which upsets him. In this show, the second half after her mom gets free, like I said before, she becomes the dumb one again. But then it's mostly just her, like, being heartbroken and trying to fall in love. Because of the whole Caleb situation and him leaving the Ravenswood, it leaves her heart broken. But she's the one who told him to go there at first, but then later on he decided to stay. But she didn't think he was going to stay there permanently and stuff. Then she meets that of Travis, and Travis is a nice guy who she begins to start to date. But the whole not the camera over, her and Travis never really become an official item because of the simple fact he got written off by season 5. And so this season they just didn't really know what to do with her love wise, and they just kept having her kiss people when she gets happy and excited. She kissed that of like Ren in season 3, indicating that she likes him. Then she kissed like Travis when she was happy and liked him. Then she ended up kissing that detective guy when she was happy and excited, indicating that she liked him. It's just kind of odd that I wish they would stop doing that to her character. Yeah, when her character. Oh, and also they revealed she made out with Mike when she was younger. They really made her seem slutty this season. And she was so embarrassed about the whole like Mike thing that when she found Allie's diary and Ezra's lair, that she even ripped out the pages that was about her and stuff because she didn't want Arya to be pissed or know that she made out with a boy who was a heck of a lot younger than her. He was barely a preteen. Emily starts off the season pretty normal enough. She's completely over the whole Maya thing, doesn't even mention Maya's name. Clearly the writers, I think Marlene King doesn't like the actress who played Maya. I really don't. But anyway, she's dating Paige and everything's going pretty smoothly and everything until she hurts her shoulder. When dealing with Cece tried to run them over and she had to push Mona and Arya out the way and she banged up her shoulder. This causes her to not be able to swim anymore. And it causes her to be a pill popper. The whole pill popping pain pill thing does not last long, but it does have a lingering effect for the rest of the first half of the season with the whole shoulder injury. Because of that, she's unable to swim. Paige gets her an interview with this swimming coach at a college, but she doesn't tell him that Emily has a fracture in her shoulder. Because of that, he doesn't want to accept her and it gives her hopes and dreams up and she is upset. For the remainder of the first half of the season, she is trying to get into a college. But, she can't get no scholarship when swimming because of her shoulder, and apparently her dad does not make much even though he's military. And so her and Spencer goes to college recruitments where she flirts with a male college student trying to get in. But then, Spencer tells her you're wrong for doing this. The guy thinks she likes him, but then she has to tell him, yo, she's a lesbian and everything. And so I love the idea of her, not my camera over again. I love the idea of her wanting to go to college. This is a really big thing for her. But of course, she's struggling when it comes to that of money. She's a waitress this season. And in the second half of this season, she is obsessing over Allie when she's contemplating could Allie really be alive and finds out she is. Because of that, it is revealed that she is the weak one of the group because she is madly in love with Allie and would do anything Allie wants. This causes problems between her and Spencer and her and Paige because of her obsession with that of Allie and stuff. And it's really sad to see Emily always go down that route of always doing whatever Allison wants because, all of this bad stuff happened because of Allison and everything. And she's just so much like a puppy and falling in love with that of Allison. It eventually causes like a strain between her and Spencer, and then it causes like her and Paige to eventually break up and everything. And she's the one who's always trying to give like Allie money, but then Allie's all like, "You're the only one I trust," and blah blah. But then when she told Spencer where Allie was gonna be at, Spencer decided to, give Emily some backup support because it was pretty dangerous. Because why are you gonna believe Shauna? You know what I'm saying? And so this is what causes Allie to run away, and then Emily to be pissed at Spencer and stuff. Like they literally made Emily this weak-minded character who runs after a girl that just used her and manipulated her and stuff. And I don't know if I think maybe her and Allie kiss again, which if so, now Shay, yeah, I think her and Allie do kiss again this season, which once again, Sasha is underage. Sasha's about 16 now, and Shay's about 22 or something like that now. Seriously, man, what the? Oh my God. Arya. I love teeny tiny Lucy Hale, man. Boy, in the second half, I loved Arya's expressions. No, in the first half, she's trying to date Jake, and her and Ezra are broken up. And I'm so glad they broke those two up because I hated that relationship. But it's hard for her to move on. She is by far the worst of all the liars and stuff because she's always blaming other people for her problems. And not only that, but she has a real jealousy problem shown in season 1. When she tells Jake she literally doesn't want to date him because she's not over Ezra, when she sees Jake with another girl, she gets highly jealous, causing him to break up with that girl and get with Arya. But then, of course, she cheats on that of Jake with Ezra. And it's just like, no, you're moving on. But now she's not spending time at his apartment. Now he has a wooden cabin in the woods and everything where she tends to spend her time there. She does not tell her friends that she's back with Ezra. But Mona is super Mona and she finds out. When Spencer starts to suspect that Ezra might be Arya doesn't really want to believe him until she talks to Ezra and he mentions something about Spencer going to Radley because she thought she saw a dead Toby in the woods with his helmet and tattoos. Now nobody told him about the whole tattoo thing. So it causes her to be suspicious to where she breaks into his apartment and finds a book that he is writing about them. He knew who Allie was back in the day and like they kissed. Need remind you, he's a grown man somewhere in his 20s. I don't know how old the actor is, but the character's in his mid to late 20s and they had him kissing a 16-year-old on the show. Because this show is gross. Anyway, Arya is highly like, first she's scared of Ezra. And I love the chase sequence between those two and when they're on that little Ferris wheel looking gondola thing. And he tells her he's writing a book. She is so heartbroken by this because she feels used and manipulated. She's been groomed. Literally, he knew who she was back in season 1 and that she was underage, and he still did what he did because he was writing a book. Everybody tried to warn her, like her parents and all this other stuff, but she did not want to listen. And now she realizes she was just a stupid girl playing house to that of a grown man. Because of this, it causes her to become infuriated and wreck his entire apartment when she's looking for more proof of what he did. And it's so cute and adorable to see teeny tiny Lucy Hale wreck that apartment because she's so teeny tiny and it's just so adorable, man. And so this causes her to just lose control to the point where she's just getting drunk, having a random fling with this other guy her age at like a college tour and everything. She's trying to mend her broken heart. So much that she's ready to expose Ezra for doing what he did and sleeping with a then 16-year-old girl and messing out with Allie and stuff. But it's Hannah that brings her to her senses when she was gonna rat him out to the vice principal, and also like show up at his book signing type thing or whatever it is premiere he was having to let everybody know that he's been banging a teenage girl that happens to be his student, but she doesn't. And so when he gets shot, then this is when she gets all upset and falls back in love with him and forgives him and everything. It takes a good while, spoiler alert, for them to get back together after the time jump, but eventually they do get married. And they were going to adopt a baby in the spin-off series until fans had like, oh, we ain't having this, and they're going to have him adopt like a different baby. I was so happy and glad they got those two away from each other, but because somebody intervened, either the studio or Marlene King, because Ezra and Arya are supposed to be soulmates and everything. I hate that relationship so much. Now, Lucy Hale went through a hard time this season. When you watch this show, you can clearly tell she is starting to gain a little weight in this season. Hey, paychecks taste amazing. When you got a cushy job and you got those paychecks coming in, you tend to go to fancy restaurants and eat. So she started to gain a little weight. And you can also tell more because they have a flashback of her when she had the pink streaks in her hair and she's skinnier. She was younger back then. She started the show when she was like in her early 18, 19, something like that. But by the time the show ended, she was close to 30, you know what I'm saying? And people gain weight because it's human. But fans were really mean and pointed that out online. It caused her to stress out. It caused her face to break out in pimples because of stress and everything. And she developed alcoholism and stuff like that around this time. You can clearly see it in her performance when she's acting in this show, because something feels off with her acting and stuff. And it's a shame she had to go through all this and fans being so rude and pointed this out. I mean, she didn't even gain that much weight. It was just a little pudginess in her face, which I found to be cute and adorable and everything. But of course, in society in which we live in, they teach you that skinny is beautiful and fat is not. And it's so wrong. And there's been shows that perpetuated this, like Married with Children and stuff. But if you think they was mean to her, they was worse to that of Sasha Spencer. My God, give this woman an Oscar, give this woman an Emmy. Once again, in 2 seasons back to back, she is the MVP and everything. Like, she is the most valuable player. She's just like the best. Oh my God. Which still surprises me that after this show wrapped up years later, she has barely appeared in anything. No TV shows really, no movies really, and when she was in the movie, it didn't do so well. And she just now put out a show that I review called On Call. Again, tongue tied. On Call. It's a cop show on Amazon Prime that was supposed to be a freebie show, and you can tell. Like I said before, the show has problems. But one thing they don't utilize is her dramatic acting on that show. She is a phenomenal dramatic actress. Yes. The Italian Black Stallion herself, she is amazing. And she helped this season be a heck of a lot better in the second half. Like I said before, the first half is really boring, but the second half does intensify. But once you find out seasons later, you know, what happens to Ezra, then everything that happens in season 4 is kind of like whatever. But it's still good to, like, you know, end this series on that, in my opinion. But Troian deserves some type of award, big time. Like, in the first half, she's not really doing much. She's just trying to figure out who A is, like always. She's always the main person trying to figure out who A is. But this time, she's not pointing the finger at so many people like she used to do in the past. She's a little bit more snarky this season and stuff, showing that hasting rudeness and everything, you know? And so she's trying to help Toby figure out, you know, who killed his mom and stuff like that, keeping it a secret from the other girls and stuff. So that's what she's doing in the first half of the season. But after the Halloween episode, this is when things start to kick up with her. They find Allie's journal. She starts to read through it, but Allie writes in code. Not code as in James Bond secret agent type code, but like you don't know who she's talking about, but she describes people in a way, so you gotta put the pieces together. When she talks about the girl with the pink streaks in her hair, that's Arya. But in the first half, when she's dealing with the Toby mom thing, she's also dealing with the parrot. Somehow she's Super Spencer and can find out that the whistling that the bird is making is actually a number and not a song is playing. You know, Allie's parrot and everything, or Allie's grandmother's parrot. And so, like, that's when she goes to, like, that college place, that frat party, and she stumbles literally in the hidden wall area where somebody was calling Allie. And I don't think it's really ever been truly explained who it was. It might have been Boy Shorts, supposedly, or something like that. But, yeah, she's now trying to figure out who A is and who Boy Shorts are. Because, you know, that's a name Allie gave somebody that she hooked up with back in the day. An older guy, all the way back in season 1, I think it was mentioned. And so nobody never knew who this dude was. Everybody always assumed it was Ian. But, you know, after investigating takes a toll on her. To the point where she's forgetting to study for her classes and her tests. So she starts to become a pill popper and everything. These like speed type pills, amphetamines and stuff. The whole pill popping storyline with Emily just got completely rushed really fast and ended after like 2 episodes. So they figured, all right, let's do it with somebody else. And let's probably do it with somebody who can act a bit better. No shade towards Shay Mitchell. I like Shay Mitchell. Her acting is not the greatest, but I will say this. Her acting was a heck of a lot better this season. But the stuff that Troian does this season, and I truly, honest to God, mean this, and no shade to none of the younger actresses and stuff, but nobody, and I mean nobody, could have pulled that off. Well, why do I say that? Because each of the other liars, like, you know, the actresses, you know, Arya, Hannah, Emily, even Mona and Allie, they've all had dramatic pieces to deliver in this show at some point in time, and none of them came close to doing what Troian did. Like, there's some that have those huge dramatic dialogues where they're all like, they close their eyes, they're looking up in the sky, their eyes are kind of crying, and they're kind of like shouting or giving a sad dramatic performance. Nothing came even close to what Troian did in the second half of this season, or even in the third season for that matter. And so, like, this is taking a toll on her schoolwork and her friends. So she starts popping pills and she starts to crash and burn. She is literally losing her mind because she's starting to suspect Ezra might be A. She linked him to Boy Shorts. That's actually Broad Shorts, ale, a beer, because he likes to drink beer with boysenberry pie, which is described in the diary on the journal. And so she just happens to stumble upon him as he ordered that and everything. And he's been acting weird and suspicious all season long in the second half. So when she starts to suspect that, it causes her mind to unravel, because at first Hannah and Emily believed her, but of course Arya's not. And then he spun everything to make it seem like Spencer's going crazy, though nobody wanted to believe her, which caused her to about to confront him at his apartment. But, you know, Hannah was there and she discovered a hidden camera linking him to some type of A-like activity. is even to the point where she's like sleepwalking and she's like, at like his classroom asleep early in the morning, waking up and realizing she hasn't showered or anything because she slept walked there. And Toby is nowhere to be found in the second half of the season, so she doesn't have no moral support and everything. Eventually, she breaks down so bad that she has to go to rehab once her parents find out. And when she goes to rehab, this is what Ezra found out. This was the biggest shocking twist of them all. Us fans assumed this was the first time that she was popping pills. It turned out she did it before Allie even went missing, and she's been locked up in rehab before. This was shocking and huge because when you watch the last three seasons, there's no indication of that. So this is a nice little thing they wedged into the show in her storyline that can actually make sense. Because we know she's always stressed out. We know she always wants to be the best that she can be. And we know she has a jealousy factor when it comes to that of her sister. So wedging this into her story so far into the series makes perfect sense. Sadly, we never get to see her at rehab. There's a lot of things we don't get to see, like Emily's mother living at Jessica's house and everything. It's like the budget, I don't know where the budget went, but it went somewhere. So she gets like a mentor that's supposed to help her with like the drugs and everything. And of course, like I said before, he gets fired. But she still wants to pin this thing on Ezra, but she needs more proof and everything. And it is amazing the acting ability of this young actress who's barely had any acting credits before this. She had some, you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know if it's like a lot. And it's shocking that she doesn't have that much afterwards and everything. She should, but like I said before, it's a curse of Hollywood. You do one bit project, after that you're pretty much done because Hollywood just doesn't want you no more. Because they know if you're that talented and everything, you're probably gonna be wanting more money and stuff. But that's how Hollywood thinks and everything. And so, as now she's recovering, because she's having a hard time with the withdrawal, and even A is giving her pills to pop even more after she got rid of them. She's trying her best to kick her habit and stuff like that. Now, the other part of the second half of the season is that she thinks she might have killed Allie and everything. She remembers arguing with Allie and picking up a shovel and chasing after her, but she also remembers whacking her over and over. This is half true. The first season of the first episode, when the girl spent the night at Spencer's place, and they all fell asleep, she woke up because she was wired on drugs. And so the sleeping pills did not work on her when Allie gave her sleeping pills and stuff. She confronted Allie outside about the stuff that was happening in season one with, like, the pills. And also that of the Ian thing that she didn't confess to. And so, like, it's now shown that Allie tried to get her off pills because they had to redeem Allie. The old Allie would have used this against Spencer and blackmailed her. But we have a brand new Allie personality now. And so it turns out, yes, she did pick up the shovel and she did chase after her and she was about to swing it, but then she stopped. But she did not hit her with like the shovel and everything. And so after Allie tells her that, she can ease and rest her mind. And then, of course, we get into that of the next season. Once again, give this woman some type of award. I'm going to get to Allie before I get to that of Ezra. So, like, why not? So, as we all know, Allie's alive. But the girls don't know that because they think it's just the hallucinations. They don't do the twin thing with Allie, and for whatever reason, I, Marlene King, wanted Allie alive. It doesn't make no sense because Allie is a bad girl, and all the reason why all this bad stuff is happening to everybody is because of Allie. Manipulation, blackmail, stealing, lying, cheating, you name it. How are they gonna redeem this character? Easy. They're gonna undo everything that she did in the first three seasons. So, first things first, the actress is a bit older now. She's about 16 years old as opposed to being 12 in the pilot and 13 in season 1. But she still has to kiss adults, so that's just icky and gross. And so it turns out a lot of the stuff we saw happen in the first three seasons didn't happen the way we thought they did, which ruins both Allie, in my opinion, all the stuff Allie did, and ruins the show. They're redeeming a character who should not be redeemed this quick and early because she's a horrible person and everything. So back in the Halloween episode of season two, it's revealed that, she got the first message, the first A message from Mona. This freaked her out. And it was to the point where she, like we saw in season two, she's trying to figure out who the heck A is. So her decided that she's gonna put a stop to this. She's super Ally and everything. So she drugs the girls and everything. And they pass out, trying to see if one of them is A. And if she still gets the message, then she'll know they're A. Or that they're not A. Now it's all the people that she screwed over. So she goes to Ian, and when she's about to do the videotape type thing with him, Melissa comes in about to barge in. So she uses this opportunity to steal all the files off Ian's computer and put it on the flash drive that she had in season two. So she suspected Melissa at one point, but it turned out Melissa had nothing to do with it. And so then, she went to Jenna, and that's when she started threatening everybody. She's all like, so when she went to Jenna in season two and talking about, I'm going to expose, you and Toby on this flash drive and everything, it turns out the only reason why she did it wasn't to keep Jenna's mouth shut, but it was to see if she was A and to keep her mouth shut as A. So she's not really blackmailing Jenna in a very cruel, vicious kind of way. She's doing it for her own benefit to be safe. Redemption. Then when she went to go visit Toby, it is shown in this season that she tried to kiss Toby, but he just didn't want her and everything because she was getting a little too handsy and he wasn't ready for nothing like that. So you assume that in season two and three, remember in season two, when Allie went to him and it's all like, no, what was it? Season one, he told Emily that, or Spencer, that Allie helped him and everything, but he also took the blame and went to juvie. Yeah, she helped him all right to get away from Jenna. Why? By going to juvie for doing something he didn't do, for blinding a girl, which he did not do. We assume she did this because she's cruel, nasty, and vengeful, because he was like a boy who peeps through the window, but we found out it was never him, it was Ian, and she still made Toby took the blame for it because of the embarrassment of messing around with your sister and blah, 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 or stepsister and all this other crap. But it turns out she never did this in a vengeful way. She just went to go see if he was A, and and turns out he wasn't. So she never did this to blackmail him. She just did it once again for her own benefit to find out if he's a stalker person. But she literally caused him to confess to a crime he did not commit, only because she wanted him to get away from Jenna and figure, oh, well, you go to juvie, you're gonna be gone for a long time and she won't mess with you. But what about the boys in juvie? They can mess with him. But redemption. Now, I just figured out a major flaw in Allie's so-called redemption arc to Toby. She put him in juvie to get him away from Jenna so Jenna wouldn't mess around with him, right? However, she has video footage of Jenna confessing on tape, talking about if Toby stops things with her, she's gonna go to the police and lie and say he messed with her and stuff. So all she had to do was send in that tape. She didn't have to send him off to juvie. The writers are so stupid. How did they think this was gonna work? Fans aren't that stupid. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, there's a huge flaw in that plan. Who else? Then there is Ezra, because apparently she pretended to be an adult at a cafeteria, not cafeteria, but a calf, and And she lied about her age and everything. They kissed and everything. He found out. It's all like, we can't do this no more. This is wrong and blah, 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 blah. And then he wouldn't let her out the car, talking about this is over. You make me feel like a gross, disgusting person. Oh, they got to redeem him, showing that he doesn't like teenage girls, but he really does. And then she's all like, you're a good person, and gives him a kiss and blah, blah, knowing he's not a. And so she's going, then she went to Arya's like dad to find out, if he's A, but then he's not. Then she found Spencer, and then when Spencer was about to clock her in the head, she realized that Spencer's on drugs and realized she's not A. So she thought she was good, you know what I'm saying? She's walking back to her house, she sees her mom in the window, and then clunk, somebody hit her in the head with a giant like brick boulder type thing. And so then her mom buried her alive, and as her eyes were kind of waking up, she couldn't move, but she could see everything, and she couldn't talk. But she was trying to scream, "Mom, why are you burying me in the ground?" Woke up, find Miss Grunwald, and then ran off and found Mona and everything. And she's been on the run ever since because she's been too scared to come back because she doesn't know who A is and she doesn't trust her mom. It's also revealed that she's the one who pushed Ian and everything, the way he got tangled and almost like, choked and everything. And it's kind of like, okay, so they're trying to redeem her, but at the same time, they showing her trying to kill somebody. Make up your mind, Marlene King. And so, like, then it's shown that all those hallucinations were actually real and she really was saving the girls and everything. And then it's kind of like, well, yo, you saving the girls, why couldn't you just come back? Oh no, she's too scared to come back and everything. Go to the police, man. And so, like, what is it? And even in season 4, when Emily's about to get cut up by that, like, electric saw thing, at the wood chipping mill and everything, she could have just hit the off button and rescued Emily in that coffin, but no, she wanted to make sure the girl saw her, ran around the corner, ran down the street, and hoped that they would be able to get her out, but they couldn't, so she still had to hit the stop button. What if they didn't see her? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Emily would have got, like, cut in half. And she's the one who saved them from, like, the lodge and everything. But the one person she didn't suspect, being as smart as she is, was Mona. She never suspected Mona for whatever reason. And that's why she allowed Mona to help her and stuff. All this just to redeem the girl and bring her into the show. Just bring Courtney into the show. That's all they had to do. And so we don't know what happened to her when she was on the run. We won't find out until the next season. But it's just crazy and it's ridiculous. It's just like every bad thing she did really wasn't really that bad. It's just like a big misunderstanding. But she still manipulated her friends and treated them like crap. You know what I'm saying? And her explanation, hey, I know I'm no saint, I know I'm no angel, I've done some bad stuff and blah, 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 but I'm changed now because I'm scared now. And I can understand, yeah, getting hit in the head, waking up in a shallow grave, getting pulled out, that will make a person change their evil ways, and it did. It made her so scared, she ran away, and she's been surviving for 3 years on her own. And it's just like this whole Allie reveal should have happened at Halloween, and they should have explained how she survived. But of course, they was banking on a 5th season, so they kept that for the 5th season and everything. Still, they should have just brought Courtney in. That would have been a heck of a lot better than trying to redeem Allie and everything. And then, oh, spoiler alert, with the whole Ian thing, she confronted him about being A and intimidated him and yelled at him and stuff and doing her typical Allie thing, but turned out he wasn't A. But then it turned around that they trying to make him seem a little better, saying that no, him and Allie never slept together. Yes, they did in season 1 when he recorded her at Kissing Rock. She was on the ground, her hands were clenching, and she was moaning. If you turn the volume up, you will hear her moan. You're not gonna moan and clench your hands like curling your toes if somebody's kissing you and stuff. I don't even care if they're kissing you on the neck. You ain't gonna be doing that moaning. He clearly was clickety clacking at her and stuff, or using his tongue in a different type of exercise on her. Either way, he was doing some type of sexual act on her. But now the show is trying to say, oh, what pedophilia? No, we ain't got that in our show. Ain't no teenagers slept with nobody except for Ezra, who slept with Arya in season 3. Ezra, oh my god, they turned a bad character and turned him into a monster. And of course, in I, Marlene King fashion, redeemed him. Oh, so first half of the season, he's actually being pretty nice. Him and Arya are broken up. He's having a hard time dealing with that. Because he doesn't like seeing her with another guy. Also, he's helping the other girls out by trying to help them with whatever problem they're having and trying to get them into college. Spencer got rejected from this college she was supposed to go to, a college that her entire family went to, and he's trying to help her with her essay and trying to get her into other colleges and stuff. He's also helping Emily out with her personal problems. The girls feel like he's probably like the only adult they can trust who's never lied to them. But he's the biggest liar of them all. So he's also dealing with the whole Malcolm thing from his ex-girlfriend. Arya never told him that that's not his kid. He found out the hard way when she wanted to move to a completely different state and get, he's trying to get like full custody. But he had to do a DNA test and it revealed that he's not even the father. One of the other girls found out because I think he was talking to Emily and he was being rude to her. And then he told her, it was either her or Spencer. And, they told, of course, Arya, but Arya already knew. He's never found out that Arya knew, but in the second half of like the season, he starts to act kind of odd. He's always giving the death threat, not death threat, but the death look stare to people and stuff like that. And it's later revealed in the Halloween episode that he has a lair of his own in Ravenswood. There's tons of pictures of Allie and all the girls and tons of newspaper articles and surveillance equipment, tons of computers, tons of hidden cameras hitting around town. And it's revealed to be his lair of all things. So this makes fans believe he is A. CC's red coat, he is A. And it's like, holy crap, they're gonna do it. They're finally gonna get rid of this guy on the show once and for all. I was like, thank you. And for him to be A is just crazy. So with the help of the diary and everything, it's turned out that he's actually writing a book. When he met Allie and started messing around with her, kissing and dating her or whatever, she told him so much about her friends. So much that he thought, wow, that's like really interesting. Then when she went missing, he thought to himself, hey, I'm a writer. I need to write a book. How perfect would this be with this girl with all these secrets, this girl who pisses a lot of people off, and this girl who has gone missing, and this girl who is now dead. I should write a book and everything, right? So he moved to like Rosewood and he started his operation. He randomly started finding all the girls. He found Arya when she showed up at that place, and he took the opportunity to befriend her, date her, and find out everything he could. And of course, she spilled all the beans to him. That got him into her inner circle with all the friends. Since then, his cameras have been all over town, near police stations and stuff. He's been videotaping everything, and in his car, secretly taking pictures and stuff, trying to figure out, who killed Allie for his book. But then when it's suspected that she is alive, because he knows she's alive, because he's been spying on them the whole time, and he saw her helping them out in those hallucinations and stuff. Except for the one in Dr. Sullivan's office. There's no way Dr. Sullivan did not see Allie walk up in there. So that was the only real hallucination. At the other times you saw Allie, those were like real. And so he also knew Mona was spying on the girls and everything. And he never told them because he was writing a book and all this. This reveal contradicts everything since the very first episode of season 1. And it ruins the show, but as long as it gets him off the show, I was happy, but it doesn't get him off the show. And so, but this ruins everything that happens in all the early seasons, because just like with the Jessica De La Rentez and Allie thing, it just negates everything that has happened. And so he, a grown man, knew for a fact this girl was underage and he dated her. Doesn't make no sense because in this same season, it's revealed that he didn't want to date Allie because of her age, but he's totally cool with dating Arya, despite her age and everything. And so, like, because of this, stinking bugs. Look, my nose is not a tunnel for you to live in, bugs. Stupid like gnats and everything. I hate the springtime. Bugs be everywhere. But back to the show. So sorry about that. So like, where was I at? So he knew all this crap was going on. But even though he knows all this is going on, he doesn't know who Big A is. Because surprise, surprise, he's not Big A. He was creepy and scary the second half of this season. And it really helped make the second part a whole lot better. And so like, when Arya found out and was at the, like, you know, his cabin at that lodge, and he chased her through the woods and she's hiding out, it was such a slasher movie moment, but with no killing. But then he confessed on the gondola that I'm just writing a book and everything. And like, I'm not really A. So they had to like, oh, trick. They tricked the audience and everything. After this, he's still doing his creepy looking at everybody, but he's kind of disappearing because he doesn't want to be found out. And so like, he thinks he knows who A is. He thinks it's Allie's mom. It's not. If he's so clever with all this surveillance and computers and this and that and all kind of crap and trying to get Spencer, like, you know, off his trail by getting her into rehab and everything, he's not all that smart. And so then he somehow found out, because he was the one reason why he was using the girls is once he found out Allie was alive, he wanted them to lead him to her. And so like, he found them on the roof when Shauna was there dressed as A with the guns and everything. He's all like, look, just leave them alone, put the guns down. Like, oh, they have to redeem him, making him the good guy again. He's like, I know who you are. He doesn't know it's Shauna. He doesn't even know. He thinks it's like, you know, Allie's mom. But when they realize that this person jumped from building to building, there's no way. Even Hannah said, oh, that's definitely not your mom. But then he gets shot and he collapses on the ground and the season ends. I'm all like, yes, he's dead. They finally got this gross, nasty pedo person off the show who's been grooming a teenage girl, who slept with a teenage girl who was his student, who's been doing all this nasty stuff, spying on other teenage girls. But then look what they did in the premiere of season 5. They brought him back to life. He survived and everything. And we gotta redeem him and everything. And so they make him back to a nice guy. And he's trying to help them find out who AD is and A. And then eventually him and Arya get married. And oh my God. How can you redeem this man? How? There's no redeeming factor with him. He's horrible. He slept with his student. He dated a teenage girl. He spied on other teenage girls and everybody else around the town. He's the most horrible character in the show, and yet they try to redeem him. And then one thing that was shocking that never made no sense at the beginning of season three, at the end of season three or the beginning of season four, whatever, he's back to working at Rosewood High. How? He's been exposed since like season two or three that he was dating Arya. How is he allowed back on campus with a bunch of high school students teaching them? It's like everybody in Rosewood is stupid. They're cool if you stalk a person. They're cool with you if you try to kill them. And they're cool if you're an adult dating a teenager. But oh no, keeping secrets and covering up murders, oh, that's all wrong and everything. So yeah, this season is a very much mixed bag. This season retreaded and rehashed a lot of the plots that happened in season one. Like, okay, like the money situation. Emily hides money in like a bag at her job. That's funny because like Hannah's mom hid that money too, remember? And A tried to get the money just like they did, or was unable to get it but tried to, just like A in season one got the money. It's such a rehash, but like this season is a mixed bag. If I was to rewatch this now after knowing everything that happens in the show, I would have never bought this on DVD. And I mean never. It's kind of at the point I kind of just want to get rid of it. But I do like the second half. Even though I know Ezra is not I still like all that creepiness that he was doing because it felt very much like a slasher movie. I love Tronian's performance in the second half of the season. And the whole Who Killed Wilden thing is kinda okay. It should have been done better. But they dropped the ball on so many characters because a lot of these, like seriously, season four is literally will always be known as the season where the recurring cast members took on other projects. And it helped ruin the show. I wish they would have delayed it, but if they did, then people would have lost interest. You know what I'm saying? So I wish they would have done something a little bit more clever. In my opinion, what they should have did was made season four the prequel season. A season that shows everything that happens that led up to the events of season one. That way, even if some people couldn't make it, they could still be in a handful of episodes. But they didn't do that. But yeah, this also feels like the filler season is also the meta season and everything. I mean, like, take Allie. Her mom told her that top you're wearing is too inappropriate. When you watch this season, she's dressed like a moderate woman. She's no longer dressing slutty and everything. And this is because people have said they over-sexualize that actress and the character and stuff. And going on, she just kept dressing more and more conservatively and everything. And, just like I said, Lucy had a hard time dealing with this season because of her weight, but Sasha as well. When you watch this season, you can clearly tell she's older. She's gained a little bit of weight. And this is because of that illness she has and stuff, that condition. I forget what it's called. Cicero something, something, something. I don't know. But as the seasons kept progressing, her weight started to gain more. And fans were really rude to point it out the way they did online. People are so disgusting. And it gets on my nerves of how they treat people and stuff. They gotta remember these are human beings and you don't know why they gain the weight that they do and everything. And so, like, and of course, because they were kept redeeming her, they kept dressing her down in other seasons because she was gaining weight. And this was an odd missed opportunity for somebody in the show to bring up her weight, but bring it up in a positive or a negative way. You gotta remember, Allie does not like big people whatsoever, and she made fun of Hannah because of it. With her gaining weight and everything, it would have been nice to have a true redeeming arc with her and being all like, oh no, I'm gaining weight, what people gonna think of me, and see her struggle with that, but they didn't do that. Then they could have had Hannah come in as support, but all like, look, I went through this. I can help you. I know what you're going through. They could have done that, but didn't. Or they could at least have Mona be all like made fun of her and showing that, this is exactly what Allie would have done. And since Mona hates Allie, that would have been a perfect opportunity, but they just didn't go there. But it is what it is. You can find this on DVD. You can watch this on Hulu or HBO Max. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye.